What if your future isn't written in stone, but in code? Not fate, not luck, but a kind of living architecture, an invisible framework that's built from your thoughts, your choices, your emotions. Most people end up drifting through life, reacting to circumstances, thinking the future just happens to them. But what if what you call coincidence is actually architecture revealing itself? A kind of feedback loop between your consciousness and the fabric of reality. What if you could see that structure, understand how it works, and then literally redesign it? That's what we're talking about today, the hidden architecture of your destiny and how to see it and change it if you want to. Everything in the universe has structure. Galaxies, atoms, even thoughts. All of it follows pattern and form, and your life is no different. Behind everything that matters to you, every success, every failure, there's a kind of geometric order that's shaping it. After decades of doing technical remote viewing work for my clients, I've seen this pattern again and again. People's lives really aren't random. They're structured like blueprints of potential futures that are waiting to be activated. Think of it like a living web of probabilities. Every decision that you make, even the smallest, sends a ripple through that web, activating one path and dimming another. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions, they're the building materials that you're constructing this invisible structure with moment by moment. It's like standing inside a vast construction site made of light. Every belief that you hold adds a beam. Every fear removes one. The shape of that unseen scaffolding determines what experiences can attach to it. When I remote view someone, I'm not really predicting their future. I'm reading the code, seeing the architecture before it compiles into physical reality. Probably the most amazing revelation I've ever had, and something that changed me forever, was that the future, it isn't random. It's responsive. It's like a living lattice of potential outcomes, probabilities, and free will mixed in. Choices that you make are what shapes it. In other words, you really are its primary architect. And here's where it gets fascinating, because that blueprint is interactive. It's not a fixed plan handed down from the heavens. It's more like a living simulation that responds to your input in real time. Every emotion you feel, every thought you entertain sends signals through this architecture. And then certain moments in your life, those charged pivotal moments, operate as gateways. In TRV, we call these gateways decision nodes. They're points where your choices collapse a future probability into a reality. You've probably felt it, that quiet inner nudge. I should go there. I should call that person. I should take that opportunity. That's not random. That's your architecture flashing a doorway. And when you walk through it, a whole new timeline unfolds. Ignore it, and that branch never materializes. Here's what that really means. Most of the time we operate on autopilot, repeating emotional loops, habits, and beliefs. Now these loops are what keep the same structures of life repeating. Now, it's not punishment, it's just programming. But the moment that you become aware of a pattern, and when you can see the loop as a loop, you can step outside it. You're no longer inside the story, you're also observing the story. And it's that simple shift in awareness that changes everything. Because when you can see the pattern, you're no longer controlled by it. You've just stepped into the architect's seat. Awareness is the cosmic lever. It's what lifts you out of unconscious creation and into conscious design. The architecture only traps you when you're asleep inside it. And the moment you wake up, you can rewrite the code. And that's the real secret to changing destiny. Awareness transforms you from a passenger into an architect. If you've ever wondered what your optimum trajectory looks like, your highest potential future, you can actually learn how to see it. Inside Zygon Premium, you'll find the new TRV basic training, where I teach the exact method that we use to map these trajectories and read your personal blueprint. Check out the introduction to remote viewing and see if you'd like to try this. It really is the most powerful mind technology that's ever been created. Okay, so how do you change your destiny? Well, it comes down to three principles that I've seen hold true time and time again. In remote viewing, in consciousness research, and in everyday life. The first is that observation collapses possibility. When you place your focus, reality begins to solidify. This isn't just philosophy, it's physics. The observer effect tells us that attention actually changes the outcome. When you define what you want with clarity, your subconscious mind begins rerouting micro decisions to match that focus. Who you notice, what you say yes to, what suddenly feels magnetic. That's the inner architecture, the blueprint that's responding. Number two, emotion actually fuels your direction. Your future responds to coherence, not wishful thinking. And what I mean by coherence is when your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions are all moving in the same direction, that's when things start to happen. Most people think that they're manifesting something, but inside, their energy's scattered. They want one thing, but they fear another. And they take actions that contradict both. That kind of internal static, it scrambles the signal. The architecture can't get a clean read on what you're building. But when your mind and your heart and your body are all in agreement, in alignment, when what you think, what you feel, and what you do are focused and aligned, the field around you stabilizes, and you become a clear transmitter. That alignment is coherence. It's not positive thinking. It's more like emotional physics. And when you reach that state, your future locks onto you like a tuning fork vibrating at the exact frequency of the outcome that you're meant to live. When your emotions, thoughts, and actions are actually aligned around a single intent, reality reorganizes to support it. That's just the way the universe is. That's why gratitude, love, and excitement are such high voltage states, because they synchronize your body's electrical field with a pattern of what you want to attract. Where fear and doubt, on the other hand, they scatter your energy. They fragment the blueprint. But deep emotional certainty, that quiet inner knowing, it acts like gravity. It pulls matching experiences toward you. And number three, and this is important, action. Action locks the gateway. Because once you take a step in physical reality, the future stops being theoretical and it begins to lock in. Before you act, you're swimming in a field of infinite possibilities, ideas without an anchor. But the moment you move, you make the call, you send the message, you walk through the door and introduce yourself, one of those probability patterns collapses into form. Action tells the universe, this is now real. It's no longer a maybe, it's a becoming thing. Every action you take tells the universe, this is the branch I'm choosing. But until you move, you're just daydreaming. Action is the declaration that collapses the wave into a form. Let me tell you a quick story that shows how this works. A few years ago, a man came to me in his mid-40s, successful software engineer, but completely burned out. He said, I'm making good money, but I feel dead inside. What am I supposed to be doing? Well, we ran his optimum trajectory session, which is what we do with TRV, and the data came back with three key ideas: water, motion, and teaching. He laughed out loud and said, well, that means nothing to me. But then 3 months later, he sold his company. He bought a sailboat and he started teaching sailing and navigation courses online. He's now financially free, but more importantly, He says every morning it feels like freedom. He didn't force it or overthink it. He just followed the data. He trusted the architecture, and his entire life rearranged itself around that new decision. And that's what happens when you align with your correct blueprint. When you move toward your true path, life starts moving toward you, and you're happier because you're living your truth. Okay, let's make this real. Tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself one question. What future am I currently constructing? Right now, by my current actions. Don't try and analyze it. Don't overthink it. Just write what comes. Then I want you to close your eyes and take one slow breath and ask again, what would my optimum future feel like instead? Notice the difference between those two emotional signatures, that gap between what you're building and what you could be building. This is your design space. The unconscious mind responds to imagery and emotion, not logic. When you feel your optimum future, you're installing a new operating system beneath awareness. Every decision you make tomorrow is a chance to close that gap because small choices are compounding. Each micro decision is like editing one line of code in the matrix of your life. Change enough of those lines and you wake up inside a different reality. Okay, let's do our question and answer segment. So the first question is, can anyone really change their destiny? Well, absolutely. The architecture is dynamic. The blueprint is not fixed. You're always redesigning your future with every thought, every emotion, every single action that you take. The question isn't, can you do it? It's how you do it consciously. Okay, what if I miss a gateway? Well, don't worry because another one will appear. The system is intelligent. It recalibrates. Awareness is the key. By just staying alert for those moments that feel charged with potential, and then you acting where intuitively you know it's right. Okay, next question. How do I know when I'm on my optimum trajectory? Well, it's a good question, but the answer is simple because you'll feel it. Your flow increases. Synchronicities multiply. You wake up with a certain clarity, an enthusiasm, a purpose, and a sense that your life is cooperating with you. That's how you know the blueprint is aligned. The architecture of your destiny isn't hidden from you. It's woven into your daily experience. You see it in patterns that repeat, in chances that appear at just the right time, in the pull that you feel toward something bigger. When you learn to read those signals and you act on them, you stop drifting through probability space and you start navigating it. Remote viewing gave me the tools to see this architecture, and you can learn it and use it. But the real power isn't just in seeing your optimum future, it's in shaping it. Because the truth is, the architecture of destiny isn't somewhere out there. It's woven inside of you, in the pulse of your heart, in the pattern of your thoughts. And the moment that you remember that, the universe starts to remember you. Inside Zygon Premium, you'll find the new TRV basic training, where I teach the exact method that we use to map these trajectories and read your personal blueprint. So why not build the future that's calling you, the real you, because it's already waiting for you to walk into it. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you on the inside.